You've probably already heard about what's going on, but just in case you haven't, Wall Street is under attack. But not like in Modern Warfare 3 where it's like Russians and, an actual attack, but rather it's an attack led by Redditors aimed at the pockets of the hedge funds of people who just like exploiting the stock market and the American people as a whole for billions of dollars. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't going to be a video that goes into deep details about the entire situation or a full breakdown about like how the Redditors planned and executed their attack, I guess. Because let's be honest, I'm not smart enough for that. Instead, this is going to be a video just about my perspective of what's going on as like a mostly outside observer with a strong but honest bias. So, let's get into it. So like I said, this won't be a full breakdown of everything going on, but I will give some explanation in case you have no idea what's going on. You won't be completely in the dark. There's a Reddit group called Wall Street Bets, and from my understanding, they've had like a running joke within the community about taking over GameStop stock, but just recently they've actually decided to collectively go through with it. They wanted to strike back against the people that have like played the stock market for years, and GameStop was a pretty easy target. They've been on the decline for years, and since they've made no real changes to their business model, it was pretty obvious that the stock was going to continue to go down, but also that it was going to be shorted by the hedge funds. There's plenty of smarter and more equipped people than me to explain how this works, and there's plenty of videos on YouTube that are going to be better at explaining it than me, but basically what happens is hedge funds will borrow shares from their brokers, sell those shares to the current price, and then when the price of the share drops because they're being sold, they'll buy them back at the lower price, return the share to their broker, and now they're receiving the profit of what they sold it for when it was originally borrowed and what they bought it back for when they're returning it. I hope you understand that, but you probably don't because, like I said, I'm not good at this. If you're looking for a better explanation, the movie The Big Short from 2015, it's got Steve Carell, Christian Bale, Ryan Gosling. It's an entertaining movie. It's actually a really good movie. It's one of my favorite movies. But it also explains how shorting stocks works, talks about the 2008 housing market crash, but also it's got Margot Robbie in a bathtub at one point. So, just all around win. So watch the movie. So while GameStop stock was presumably being shorted, the Redditors bought a lot of the shares, causing the price to go up to the highest point it's been in years. Literally years. Like, this is the stock's 10-year history, roughly 10 years, and the peak price it was at during this whole event is significantly higher than it's ever been. Currently, the price is down a good amount from what it was. It's still higher than it's been in the past 10 years, and some people are suggesting that the current price isn't what's actually representative because they're saying that shares are kind of being traded around through people that were trying to short it to artificially lower the stock. I don't know how all that works exactly, but that is some things that are going around. Now, shorting stocks is very risky because the borrowed shares do have to be returned. So your losses can be much higher than if you just normally bought and sold shares on the stock market. So by doing this, the Redditors have caused the price of GameStop to skyrocket. And since they aren't selling the shares either, and the price is holding, the people who are trying to short the stock are losing a lot of money. But they've also made the stock potentially very valuable for anyone who was able to buy it early on. Now, normally this probably wouldn't be a major story. It'd be talked about for a day or two, make some headlines. People would celebrate the little guy getting a win. There'd inevitably be some articles talking about how it's a bad thing for one reason or another, but realistically just because the news outlet would have owners or investors that are losing money off of this or afraid that it'd become a trend and they'd eventually lose money off of it. But for the most part, wouldn't be a big story. However, this isn't a simple David versus Goliath story. You see, sadly, and unshockingly, the rich and powerful aren't going to accept losing on a bet that they knew was risky, but especially when it's losing to a bunch of Redditors they see as beneath them who just beat them at their own game. So what we're seeing happen instead is interference from both our own government and companies like Robinhood that claim to be for the people. We're told the Biden administration is monitoring the situation, which in of itself seems unnecessary, but especially in the context of how the U.S. government has sided with Wall Street, the banks, and big corporations in the past, it makes it especially sketchy. Robinhood was blocking and limiting the trade of GameStop stock, and coming from a company that claims to be a, quote, financial product that would enable everyone, not just the wealthy, access to financial markets, makes this action not only more disheartening, but also a clear message that it only believes in this access as long as it doesn't affect the status quo. We're facing such a blatant attempt at suppressing the American people's access to the market and attempts to fight back against the million and billionaires who have exploited these same systems for years at our expense that even people like Elon Musk, Dave Portnoy, Ja Rule, and even Jordan Belfort, of all people, are speaking out against Robinhood and in support of GameStop and Wall Street bets.
You know what, Wall Street? You know what, Robinhood? We're not leaving. We're not leaving. We're not fucking leaving! The show goes on! This is our home! They're gonna need a fucking wrecking ball to take us out of here! They're gonna have to send in the National Guard and fucking SWAT team because we ain't going nowhere! Fuck them!
I think the craziest thing to me is the fact that in a time of such great divide within our country for one reason or another, we're seeing so many people on all sides come together because of Reddit. Side note, in the process of doing research for this video, I found out that the rights to the entire situation have apparently already been sold to MGM for both a movie and a book to be made about it. All the headlines say movie, but the only thing I can really find specifics on is the book is going to be written by Ben Mesrick. I think I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if I'm not. Who is also the author of The Accidental Billionaires, The Founding of Facebook, A Tale of Sex, Money, Genius, and Betrayal, which was later adapted into the movie The Social Network, starring Jesse Eisenberg. So I can't imagine it won't be turned into a movie at some point if it's not already being made a movie as we speak. That's going to be all for today's video, though. Like I said at the start, I know I have a pretty strong bias in the situation, and I'm definitely not the best equipped to be talking about it, but at least I'm honest about my bias. And also, this has been pretty much the only thing I've seen on the internet as a whole for the past week or two. And honestly, I'm really interested in it. I've been keeping up with it as much as I can, and I just really wanted to have the chance to talk about it, so I thought I'd make a video on it. But let me know your thoughts on everything going on down in the comments below. Make sure to follow me on Twitch. I'm currently streaming on Mondays and Tuesdays, usually at 6 or 8 p.m. Eastern Time. To know what time for sure, make sure to follow me on social media and join my Discord. I announce there when I'm going live. But more importantly than all of that, I just appreciate you watching today's video. So, I hope you all have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time. GameStop was a GameStop. There'd inevitably be. Why can I not say inevitably be? The amount of times I've said GameStop trying to film this is fucking annoying. Also, why did I put inevitably be if I can't fucking say it?